Investigating selection, effects of antibiotics. So you can carry out practicals into the effect of antimicrobial substances like antibiotics, antiseptics or disinfectants on microbes. And these investigations demonstrate whether the microbes have evolved resistance to these substances. So looking at the method, antibiotics are medicines that are designed to kill bacteria. Antibiotics are medicines designed to kill bacteria, and therefore they're a type of antimicrobial substance. You can investigate the effects of different antibiotics on bacterial growth. The whole investigation must be carried out using aseptic techniques. The bacteria you will use has been grown in a liquid broth, which is distilled water, bacterial culture and nutrients. You'll then use a sterile pipette to transfer the bacteria from the broth to the agar plate. Spread the bacteria over the plate using a sterile glass spreader. Use sterile forceps to place paper discs soaked with different antibiotics on the plate. Various concentrations of antibiotics should be used. You also need to add a control disc soaked in sterile water. Tape a lid onto the Petri dish, don't completely seal it. Overturn it and incubate the plate at 25 degrees C for 48 hours. This allows the bacteria to grow, forming a lawn. Anywhere the bacteria can't grow can be seen as a clear patch in the lawn. This is called the inhibition zone. The size of an inhibition zone tells you how well an antibiotic works. The larger the zone, the more the bacteria were inhibited. Example results. So here's an agar plate after it has been incubated with paper discs, soaked in the antibiotics, methicillin, tetracycline and streptomycin. The tetracycline discs have no inhibition zone. So the bacteria are resistant to tetracycline up to 250 milligrams. The streptomycin discs have small inhibition zones, with the zone at 250 milligrams slightly larger than the ones at 125 milligrams. So streptomycin inhibits the growth of some of the bacteria. The methicillin discs have a larger inhibition zone. So methicillin inhibits the growth of most of the bacteria. And then the negative control has no inhibition zone, which shows that the other results must be due to the presence of the antibiotics, not paper. A similar method can be used to test the effects of antiseptics or disinfectants on microbial growth. Just replace the paper disc soaked in antibiotics with discs soaked in antiseptics or disinfectants. Aseptic techniques. So aseptic techniques are used to prevent contamination of cultures by unwanted microorganisms. This is important because contamination can affect the growth of microorganism that you're working with, and to avoid contamination with disease-causing microbes that could make you ill. You should regularly disinfect the work surfaces to minimise contamination. Don't put utensils on the work surface. Contaminated utensils are placed in a beaker of disinfectant. Use sterile equipment and discard safely after use. For instance, glassware can be sterilised before and after use in an autoclave. Pre-sterilised plastic instruments are used once, then safely discarded. Work near a Bunsen flame. Hot air rises, so any microbes in the air are drawn away from the plate. Minimise the time spent with the lid off the agar plate to reduce the chance of airborne microorganisms contaminating the culture. Briefly flame the neck of the glass container of broth after it's opened before it's closed. This causes air to move out of the container, preventing unwanted organisms from falling in.